expect some Gerry Anderson news.
Yeah, someone who's fallen in a puddle.
Oh, that'll be the randomiser.
Naughty men with guns. Emails from
Yes.
our Podsterons.
A bit of flashing going on.
I'm just trying to raise a bit of enthusiasm for the Gerry Anderson podcast.
Good luck, guys.
The Gerry Anderson Podcast with Jamie Anderson, Richard James, and Chris Dale.
Bonjour. Guten Tag.
No.
Buenos dias, senor.
Yes.
Ciao.
Yes.
Willkommen. Gerry Anderson podcast. I'm going international. We do have international listeners
We
and
do,
viewers.
yes.
So
Not anymore, we don't, after that array of misspoken welcomes.
I wonder, are you a fan of podcasts?
Nah.
Are you a fan of Gerry Anderson?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I'm just trying to raise a bit of enthusiasm for the Gerry Anderson podcast.
Which is what we're doing now.
Exactly. What do we expect, Chris, in the next hour and a half or so?
Well, I think you can expect some Gerry Anderson news.
Yes.
Over to Jamie.
Oh! What else do we do on this thing?
Come on.
Oh, that'll be the randomiser.
Right.
Where we all watch a random Gerry Anderson episode
That's right,
as chosen by...
Oh, yes. This week's special guest, that's poster artist extraordinaire, Paul Shipper. Now, if you are in any way interested in Gerry Anderson, the music of Gerry Anderson, and the concert that's happening in Birmingham in July the 13th,
Well remembered.
then you will be very familiar with Paul Shipper's work because he designed the fantastic poster for that.
Yeah, with a myriad of stars from the Gerry Anderson universe, with a notable exception.
Of Officer Oren.
Officer Oren does not appear, sadly. But there is a cruiser from Space Precinct on it. So.
There is. But, you know, if you have a Blu-ray of any kind of genre film, any of the Lord of the Rings or Indiana Jones or Star Wars or Harry Potter, chances are he designed the cover.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're talking. It's extraordinary. So I'll be talking to Paul a bit later on.
Very nice man.
What else do we have coming up, Chris?
We would have some emails from
Yes.
our Podsterons,
Right.
our listeners. They
Yes.
write in and they tell us things.
Exactly.
And we say it back to
And the
you.
address is?
The address is podcast@gerryanderson.co.uk.
No, it's .com, isn't it?
.com.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I was,
he's
like- again.
I was about to congratulate Chris on getting it right.
Yeah, don't congratulate him.
No.
It always leads to drama.
Yeah, he's not doing it again.
Nice try. Anyway, all sort of sprinkled with a little bit of Anderson banter.
Oh,
We're doing that now.
Banty,
Banterson.
Bants.
Right. Yeah.
Shall we have some news quick before it gets any worse?
Quickly, the Gerry Anderson
Bring it on,
news.
come on.
It's the Gerry Anderson newsy
News.
It's
Yeah.
potentially the most exciting part of the podcast.
No, don't say that
The
because
word
they might turn
potentially
off.
is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Yeah,
But
fine. Well,
Over to you.
it is exciting. We will talk about something Richard James themed shortly.
Oh.
But before that,
because there's always something Richard James themed happening right now.
or shortly, yes. No, but the exciting thing on
Yes.
Friday just gone
yes.
was the pre-order launch of the Wasp sidearm.
Yes, very nice.
I should just flag, it is only a collectible replica. It is not
Not a real
actually
sidearm.
a sidearm.
Yeah.
It's been requested that I flag that.
Yes.
So just be very clear. I don't know if they're still available because there's
It's
only 500.
Yeah.
So if there are any left, then grab yours immediately or forever go unarmed when facing off against
dear.
Titan.
Yes, that would
So
never do.
good luck with that. Anyway, that's the start of our kind of 60th anniversary Stingray celebration.
Yes, there's a lot going on.
And to follow, obviously, all the Deadly Uprising stuff
Yes,
with
Deadly
the lead
Uprising.
story from Chris Dale.
Well, and the concert as well.
Oh, yeah, all that
Oh,
sort of
right,
stuff.
right,
There's
right.
loads of it. Anyway,
Wow.
more to come on the Stingray front. Richard James, I don't want to keep you waiting any longer. You have got an extremely sore wrist.
My wrist has been very busy over the last few days.
Would you like to explain why?
I've been signing a few books and popping them in the post to wonderful Podsterons who pre-ordered the novel of First Action Bureau Damaged Goods. The prequel to the audio series from 2020, 2019?
2020?
Yeah. So do let us know what you think. I know several people have already tweeted pictures of it
Yes.
having arrived. I'd love to know what you think of the novel. I really enjoyed writing it.
It is an excellent novel by an excellent author for an excellent story, so do enjoy that. It's limited edition, only 300, and we're
Yes.
certainly down to the last sort of 60 or 70 copies of that, I
Wow.
believe. So
Yes, and Genevieve Gaunt has given it voice, and I guess the audiobook will be available in due course.
it will be available from bigfinish.com and from the Gerry Anderson store in the next month or so.
Yeah, great.
Wow.
Nice.
There you go. And
Yes.
from future Nothing Is True stuff to
Yeah.
classics,
Oh, yeah.
3rd of June, tomorrow, today, whatever it is.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. I've got lost in time, sorry. Captain Scarlet has begun screening on Talking Pictures TV. There's Captain Scarlet in the corner. Yes, Talking Pictures, our lovely friends there, Sarah and Noel, and the whole team are doing Anderson stuff proud. We've already had Fireball and Stingray and Thunderbirds and now Captain Scarlet.
And not forgetting, of course, Crossroads to Crime, the most important one of all.
Crossroads to Crime also. And soon, an Anderson adjacent series, Space Patrol.
Yes.
From Roberta Lee and Arthur Provis.
June 15th, I believe that starts at
Chris.
10 to 10-ish.
In the morning?
In the morning.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yes.
Chris,
so you
you
can
are
catch Space Patrol in the morning, Scarlet in the afternoon,
There you go.
if you're so inclined.
Exactly. So thank you, Talking Pictures, for keeping the flame going. And also, I believe there's an event, Richard James, on the 9th of June.
Yes,
Some
yes.
screening of some original film stuff. Are
Yes.
you looking it up right now
I
on your
am.
phone and I'm
I
padding
am.
for time?
Yes, that's it. No, it's perfect.
Come on.
Sunday, 9th of June at 5 p.m. The Worlds of Gerry and Sylvia Anderson at southendfilmfestival.com. Park In by Radisson, Palace Hotel, Church Road, Southend-on-Sea, with special guest Terry Adlam,
Oh, well.
creator
wow.
of Dick Spanner.
Oh.
Yes, so he was very keen for me to give that another path of publicity. We have mentioned it over the past few weeks.
We have, and you can see Dick Spanner in HD there.
Oh, yes.
Restored and
very nice.
upscaled by young Andrew Joseph.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Is
so-
he young?
Well, younger than
Me.
someone who's not.
Yeah, sure.
So there you go.
Yeah.
And that, I think,
Yes.
it's enough for this week. So that's the end of this week's Gerry Anderson News.
That was the news. That was the news.
I mean, he's
I'm
just
getting better.
so good at it, isn't he?
I think he's your replacement, isn't
Oh,
he?
I'm very happy for Chris to have taken on the mantle.
I found my niche, as they say.
It's quite a responsibility, isn't it?
It is. I
Yeah.
feel weight
Congratulations,
of that
Chris.
responsibility.
Yeah. Now, coming up a little later, we have the Voice of the Podsterons, our wonderful listeners who've been emailing us at podcast@gerryanderson.com. We've also got the Randomiser. We're going to sit down and watch a random episode of a Gerry Anderson series.
Completely randomly.
And this week, it'll be chosen by our special guest, Paul Shipper, who I'm about to interview now. Paul Shipper, welcome to Slough.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
I bet it is.
It is.
Suitably attired as well.
Yes. Well, it was going to be my new logo, but then I found out Captain Scarlet
Yeah, he
already
took
had
it years ago, I'm afraid. Yeah.
I like wearing S's.
Oh, of course. Now, does that mean you're something of a fan, a little bit of a fan, or just aware of Gerry's work generally?
I'm aware, and I grew up with some of Gerry's work.
Yes.
And then was introduced to other shows as I sort of grew up older,
Yeah.
of reruns and things like that. So I got to enjoy Terrorhawks first of all, really.
Right.
Followed probably by Thunderbirds, Stingray, Space 1999, all that. You know, it's just kind of like a menagerie, really.
Yeah, okay,
And
interesting.
then some of the things you didn't even realize that he was involved in. Like you're just like, oh wow.
Yeah, because there's such a breadth. We often talk about there's a breadth of styles and different ways of telling the story. There's your puppetry, and then there's the live action.
That's right.
Then there's the likes of Terrorhawks, which sort of employ different sort of puppets. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
It is. It's brilliant.
Now, you're a poster designer.
I am.
Is that what you would call yourself? I know
You
you're-
can call me that. I'm a freelance illustrator, but I specialize in movie posters.
Right.
And so I've done like movie posters and Blu-ray covers and events posters for various things, concerts or you name it really.
Yeah.
It's kind of book covers,
Right.
comic book covers,
Right.
So
it's fair to-
anything where they need illustrated imagery.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's fair to say if people don't know your name, they will almost certainly have seen an example of your work, I would say.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they may have seen some things. Yeah.
And so how does life as a freelance illustrator, a poster designer, how does work come your way?
Mostly some by word of mouth, which is very nice. Sometimes people are doing searches online and they stumble on your work and then they'll contact you through your website.
Yeah.
Very, very different ways.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's meeting someone in person.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can happen any way, really.
And you were talking over lunch even of some sort of personal commissions for people, which sounds interesting.
Yeah, that's right. So I've been lucky enough to get to know a few people in the industry, and some of them will contact me out of the blue and just ask for things.
Yeah.
And so recently there's 2 projects for that. So I don't really want to name drop, but Simon Pegg was one of them. and the other one is a director of a film that's just coming out. So
Yeah, nice.
That was good.
And obviously you enjoy your work.
I do. It's I have to pinch myself, honestly.
Yeah.
From sort of age 12, I kind of decided I wanted to try and be a movie poster artist.
Ah, right.
So it's been a kind of a lifelong mission in a way.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. But before we do that, you've mentioned various of Gerry's series that you're familiar with, but we're now going to put your Gerry Anderson knowledge to the test, I'm afraid.
Okay.
We're going to play a little game, and it is a game, it's not a competition, called Super Identification. Okay, we're going to show you some very brief clips, together with sound, of the opening credits of each of Gerry's 18 TV series. Right. And I want you to shout out as soon as you see one that you recognise. You ready for this?
I'll try.
All right, Paul Shipper, good luck. Number one. This is going back a bit.
I don't know what that one was.
Number two.
Could it be Bill and Ben?
It could be, but it isn't.
I missed that one. 5 Alex Will 5, I don't know. Oh, wow.
Still very early days.
Oh, this is before my time then.
Yes. Number 5
I'm terrible at this.
Don't worry, don't panic. Here we go.
Oh, that was Thunderbirds.
Close.
Oh, is that? That one's Thunderbirds.
That's your first point. Well done.
Oh my gosh.
You'll get a few now, I reckon.
It's Captain Scarlet.
Exactly. That's it.
Joe 90.
Yes.
Oh, I don't really remember the name of it, but I've just illustrated him.
Oh, right.
I missed that one. Space 1999.
This is an emergency.
Terrorhawks!
That's it.
Oh, great.
Now we're into the 90s.
Oh, Space Precinct.
Yes, good.
Place of legend. Favored right
And
to
almost there. That's the final
That's
one.
the new Thunderbirds.
All
is it?
close. The new, not Thunderbirds, but
Oh, I don't know.
the new Captain Scarlet. In
The
fact,
new Captain. I didn't even know that was a thing.
CGI, Jerry's last
I
series.
did not know that.
There you go, 2004, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just,
That's pretty good going. That's 6 points, Paul.
6.
That's absolutely,
okay.
honestly, that's pretty damn good.
All right. Well, I'll tell you that then.
Yeah, so I shall give you your score here on your little Thunderbirds doll.
I should have brushed up before I
No,
arrived.
because that would have been cheating.
That would have been cheating, actually. You're
There you go.
This is very real. 6.
Sweet. No, that's fine, because as you say, a lot of them are before your time.
Yeah,
All
that's
those
right,
black and white
yeah.
ones, we had the likes of Torchy, Twizzle, probably
right.
names you might recognise, Four Feather Falls, Supercar, 5 or XO5.
I recognise that
Yeah,
name.
but you wouldn't necessarily know it from the
No, because I
opening
wouldn't have
titles.
really watched that one.
That's right,
Yeah.
that's right. You mentioned something there that was quite interesting about the Secret Service, in fact.
Oh,
We
yeah.
saw a very brief clip of Stanley Unwin, and you said you'd just done some illustrations.
It was
something?
the father.
Yes?
Yes.
So
yeah.
what
Well,
was-
it's for the upcoming concert. That's happening.
Yes.
And so, I wasn't aware of some of the things I was illustrating then.
Sure.
And he was one of them. I'm like, what could that be?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like a secret kind of spy kind of
That's exactly it.
undercover thing. So
Undercover
it's
bishop.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Well,
yeah,
vicar. Yeah. Very odd.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, nice. So that must have been quite a challenge then. So for our viewers who I know will be already booking tickets for Standby for Action 2
Yes.
This year, you designed the poster both last year and this year.
I didn't do last year's.
Aha, okay,
I did
so for
not.
this
No. But Jamie asked me to come on board for this year to have a go.
Yeah.
One of the things is there's so much,
I know.
and so trying to make it work into one image is quite difficult. But that's something I love to try and do. So
Yeah.
it's kind of it was quite a fun challenge.
And I guess as much as picking what you're going to put in the image, you're also deciding what to leave out. Just as
That's
important.
true. Yeah, I mean that's the tough part
Yeah.
is to some of the things. Jamie gave me a lot of reference material to kind of go through. And so it's just like picking out what I think might work best with the other images as well to tell a story. And also because it's Stingray's 60th anniversary, we wanted Stingray up front.
Right.
And then it was sort of slowly followed by Thunderbirds, and then it kind of goes out from there.
Yeah, that's right. So you start with the main sort of series that everyone would know, drawing the attention, I suppose.
Yeah, it was
Is that
kind
right?
of for this project. It was like that because it was like we really wanted to focus on Stingray being the anniversary
Yes.
year, and then everything else. Sometimes with these projects they just kind of build themselves in a way because you take it all in, and then it all kind of that'll go there, and everything kind of starts making sense.
Yeah.
And that's one of the nice things because it kind of sort of becomes second nature in a way for doing the compositions of these things.
Yeah.
And once the composition's done, then it's the case of illustrating it and giving it the aesthetic that I really grew up loving from the 80s and 90s movies.
And it's interesting. So, I mean, I guess it helps you, doesn't it, if the properties that you're working with to put onto a poster design, for example, are visual. I mean, obviously that goes without saying.
Yeah.
But exciting or colourful or whatever it might be.
That's true.
That's got to be a help, isn't it?
Oh, well, of course,
Yeah.
I mean, the subject matter is pretty incredible. Like,
Yeah.
it's very, like you said earlier, is the variety, the variation in the projects. It's almost like amazing that they, all come from the same place. One of the things that really excited me about working on with on Anderson projects was the fact that it's homegrown. It's from the UK, and I'm from the UK, and a lot of my work is over in America.
Yes.
So, I kind of been trying to make a conscious effort to try and do some more UK-based projects.
I see.
And so when this was starting to happen, and I got to know Jimmy, we were in talks a few years ago about doing something. We didn't know what.
Yeah.
And then this came up, and it was like, because
And
so it's really good.
when you started work on the fantastic poster featuring craft and characters from over 60 years worth of TV shows, were you tempted, or did you have the time to dip back and have a look at some? You mentioned the source material. Did that involve watching episodes?
It didn't so much because time was quite over. Unfortunately, when you have a deadline, you have to kind of work to it. And but I did do a few dives into what things were like. Some of the things I'd never really seen before, like the Vicar one in particular. There was another one which I can't remember, but he has like a big like a raincoat, very unusual features like.
Dick Spanner. Dick Spanner.
Dick Spanner,
the robot,
right?
He's a robot private investigator.
Right, that one. I'd like that took me. I mean, I'm like, what's that?
Yes.
I mean,
a lot of people think that.
Yeah.
when they watch Dick Spanner.
So it's great having him on there as well on the poster art.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other ones. I mean, there's just so many.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
But they're all amazing.
Yeah.
And to be part of it in any way whatsoever. I mean, I think the first illustration I did of a Gerry Anderson character was a Thunderbird, and it was for a comic convention, and it was for like the key art for them, and because they had some puppets at the convention.
Oh, wow.
So I included an image of one of them in that, and illustrating the puppet. It just came out so nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it really felt good to be doing that. So when I've been asked to do it again, it's like it just feels brilliant, man.
And I guess you're working digitally now, rather than
that's
drawing,
right.
painting freehand, as it were. So
it's-
can you talk us through that process a bit, how that works?
Sure. Well, in the old days, when I was working with acrylic paints and airbrushes and pencil crayons, I kind of took the person who inspired me to become a movie poster artist, his name's Drew Struzan, and he did a lot of posters like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, things like that. And so his technique, I kind of borrowed, I would say. I learned from looking at his posters as a child. I would just study them, and I'd try and figure out how he did them.
Yeah.
And so by studying them, I figured out a lot of things, a lot of techniques.
Like what? Can you be specific about that?
Yeah, like for example, because when you're looking at a poster, we get a magnifying glass out just to try and, because before I explain that, the thing about the movie posters is that affected me so much was that they were just like to look at. They were just so incredible, and I didn't. At first, it was like, it's just photos,
right?
But then it was more than photos, though. It was like photos, but super ultra realistic in a way, but not realistic at the same time.
Yeah,
It was like this in
okay.
between. I didn't understand it. So as a sort of 10, 12-year-old, when I started seeing posters and then coming to realize that a person had hand painted it,
Yes.
it was like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
It was like, because I loved drawing at a young age, and
Yeah.
I was always drawing pictures. And so it's like, I just wanted to figure it out.
Yeah.
And because the stories were coming out from the page
Yeah.
and affecting me.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know what it was, but it hit me right here. And I just felt an urgency to learn and be doing it if I could. But basically, from learning the traditional way, when it came to being, starting work, trying to get work, things like that, I'd done a few projects, and then I got a call or an email in the early days, and just before the year 2000, from Penguin Books, and I had a little website, and they'd seen my artwork, which was all traditional, none of it was digital.
Okay.
And they were like, "We really like the style of work you do, and we've got this books that are coming out called it was based on an old TV show called Gunsmoke."
Right. Yeah.
And it's like the longest running TV show in America. And I'm like, oh, this sounds good.
Yeah.
But we want you to work, we want it to be digital illustration. Do you work digitally?
Yes.
And so I didn't at the time. I was always interested in that kind of thing, but I'd never really kind of honed that craft of doing it digitally.
Yeah. So you sort of
So
thrown
I just
in.
said, yes,
Yeah,
of course I
great.
can work digitally.
Yeah. Best way to learn.
Yes. So I quickly went out, found some software, painting software, got a tablet to draw onto the computer, and quickly experimented using the knowledge that I had from a traditional background and working in layers.
Yeah.
I practiced for a few days, and it just worked.
Yeah.
It's just like, I think this is going to work.
Wow.
And I did the first one, and they just loved it. And
Yeah.
I think I did 5 or
Yeah.
something. They were different releases of Gunsmoke
Extraordinary.
with Penguin Books in America.
Right.
And so that was it. And I was like, well, everyone started asking for digital then.
Yeah.
I did the occasional traditional piece.
Yeah.
But it was rare.
I mean, from a layman's point of view, of
Yes.
course I'm a layman, it seems to me that it must feel different, surely, from holding, let's say, a pencil or a brush and feeling the pressure of the
Yes.
canvas underneath the heel of your hand. And I don't know, does that feel different to holding a tablet and a pen?
Yes. Initially, because when I first started, I didn't have the equipment I have today.
Yeah.
But the hand-eye coordination, if you're working on a tablet down here and you're looking up here,
Right.
that took about a bit of time
Yes,
to
I can
really
imagine.
hone that.
Yeah.
But then nowadays I've got it's called a Cintiq display, which is it's like a giant iPad.
Yeah, okay.
And you have a touch pen.
Yeah, of course.
And so you're directly on the surface.
Yeah.
So it's the closest you'll get to working on paper.
Yeah.
But you do miss the smell of the materials
Yeah,
and things
sure.
like that. Like you said, the texture and the feel of the pencil going over the grains of the paper and things
Yeah.
like that is slightly.
Do you
gone.
often sort of have an illicit doodle in a pad with a pencil just for your
absolutely.
own
I've still got
pleasure?
my drawing boards are still in my studio. All my
Great.
paints are there.
Yeah,
all
lovely.
my pencils are there. Airbrushes, it's all ready to go.
Yeah.
So anytime I get free, which is not that much time, so
Yeah.
I don't get to do very much.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of the hardest things is like coming up with something to do. Like I need someone almost. I think that's part of this job is someone comes to me with a project and I have to create something for that.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm just like, I'm just gonna. Actually, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I need something.
I see.
I need focus. I need someone to tell me, do a portrait of
Yeah.
da da da, and then I'm like, okay.
And now, how prescriptive are people? So, if, let's say, for example, your approach to do a poster for a film, do they specify who they want in the poster, the style of the poster, the lighting, the color palette, and so
yeah,
on?
sometimes very specific.
Right.
Sometimes even the design has been worked on for months.
Yeah, I see.
Before I come on board.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't get a big say in the design.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Is that a shame? Do you feel a bit?
Sometimes, but then work, and I also get to inject their design with a bit of me.
Yeah.
And so I will make slight changes if I feel it necessary, and they ask me to do that. Say anything you want to change, please do.
Yeah.
And then they can look at it and come back to me.
Yeah, because of course, as it's digital, you could undo it all, can't you?
Well, you can pretty much to a point.
Yeah.
Usually save different versions as you go, just in case they're like, that one you did back then.
Yes.
I think we want to go there, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So you have to try and keep a record of everything that you've been doing in that respect. Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I often think that sound and music are just as important when you're seeing a film. The theme tunes stick with us, the likes of John Williams and so on, Barry Gray from the Gerry Anderson series. But also those posters are what stick. The Alien poster springs, Jaws, of course. Even things like Star Trek: The Motion Picture with the kind of rainbow laser and the cast beneath. And so it's funny how these things stay with you.
It's funny that you've said that, because I'm getting kind of goosebumps, because that's one of the things I realized was the soundtrack and the poster.
Yeah.
They live outside of the movie, but obviously related to the movie. And it's a way of, I used to listen to soundtracks, and I still do every day, really.
Yeah.
When I'm working and when I'm not working. But it's a way that you could relive the movie in a way.
Yes.
And it's the same with the poster. You hang it on your wall and you can just glance over it and go, you transport back there for a moment.
Yeah.
So if you have a favorite movie, I encourage anyone to get the poster for that movie and hang it in your house somewhere if you've got room.
Yeah.
Just so that you can look at it and feel that for a moment. If you might be having a down day and you look at the poster, it just perks you up.
Yeah.
It is like listening to a piece of music.
It absolutely is. It's like music for the eyes.
Yeah,
isn't it,
so
in a way?
thank you for saying that.
You're
That's
welcome.
really
You can have
wonderful.
that one.
Yeah.
Now, you've mentioned already your first Anderson memory. We're going to take a look at a very quick, in fact, the opening credits, because they are rather wonderful, and they'll probably take you back as well. A nice hit of nostalgia coming up here,
I like
Paul.
that.
So let's have a look at your first Anderson memory.
All right.
There he is.
That's me.
Terrahawks, stay on this channel. This is an emergency.
She creeped me out.
Yeah.
Music's awesome.
Isn't it?
Oh, it's so good.
And also those 80s visuals as well.
Yes.
Incredible.
Oh, they were great.
There we go. Does that take you back?
Yes, I love that.
The opening credits to Terrahawks. It struck me, of course, watching that. The opening titles do much the same job as a poster, I suppose.
Yeah, they do.
Enticing you in.
They do. And the music with that,
Yeah.
it's it's amazing. It really is.
So
yeah.
what are your memories of watching Terrahawks? How old would you have been?
What was it, like 1983, 4?
Yeah.
Time? Yeah, so I was born in 76.
Okay.
So I was about 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a
Interesting.
perfect time for me.
Yeah. Do you remember if you had been aware of previous Gerry Anderson stuff at that time, like Thunderbirds, or was Terrahawks your gateway drug?
I don't, I think I was probably aware.
Yeah.
And there may have been reruns on TV by then already.
Yeah.
One thing was, when I was growing up, me and my sister would put a record on and we'd run around the living room, like, listening to the music from science fiction stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it was an album called Jeff Love and his orchestra doing, like, Star Wars, and it had stuff like Thunderbirds and UFO, Space 1999, all stuff from, like, sci-fi movies.
Yeah, weird, isn't it?
Yeah, so we would, like, run around to that. So we were aware of those things.
Yeah.
I'm sure I had a Thunderbirds outfit as well.
Right.
Like it was made of like plastic or something.
Great.
So yeah, I would look for the photo. I couldn't find it.
Oh,
But
shame.
It must be around
If you,
somewhere.
well, let me know if you ever do.
If I find it, I'll send
we
it
can
to
share
you.
it. Absolutely. Do you have any sort of specific memories of watching Terrorhawks, or is that just your first kind of vague?
I loved the Zeroids.
Yes.
I remember having them as toys.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And the guy who did the voice, what was his
Windsor
name?
Davis,
Windsor Davis,
famously.
very
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Sergeant Major voice.
That's it. That's right.
And they were one of my favorite bits.
Yeah.
In it, those guys. The Zelda and her family always freaked me out. They scared the living daylights out of me. Actually, like even Doctor Who, if that came on, I'd be afraid.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was a scared child.
Wow,
I think.
interesting.
Yeah, horror. I didn't never like horror type movies either.
Ah.
I always like stayed away from them until I was being grown up a bit. Even Jaws, like
Yeah.
I couldn't watch it
Yeah.
until later in life.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing about that, it was I found it was more about the people than the scary
Right.
thing, and I loved it. It was more of a character story.
Absolutely, it is.
You know,
The shark is
but-
sort of incidental in a way.
yeah, I mean, I think part of that. I mean, when Jaws came out, my mum and dad went to see it, and I was still unborn in my mum's tummy.
Yeah,
So
okay.
while they were watching Jaws, so I'm putting it down to that.
Maybe you got an adrenaline rush.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
via
it's
your
like,
mother.
don't do it.
Great.
Interesting.
Now, we call our viewers and listeners Podsterons,
Okay.
of course, like Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons. And they have very kindly been sending in some listeners and viewers' questions for the Space 1999 tin.
That's a great
So there's
tin.
a few in here. So let's
Okay.
just separate them out for you. And let's say if you take 3 or 4 now, and then we'll ask some more again next week as well. Okay.
There we go. I
Excellent.
actually got 3. didn't
Great.
I
Perfect.
do well.
Yeah, you do.
Do I open it?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. This is from Joanne Bennett. Hey, Paul, do you have a favorite episode from any Gerry Anderson show? And if there was any film or TV show, past or present, that you could design a poster for, what would it be and why?
That's
Wow.
nice. Past and present. That's nice.
Yeah, that is nice. Our favorite Gerry Anderson show? Well, I have definitely... The Terrorhawks is probably my first, like you
Yeah.
said. But followed by Thunderbirds, because I actually started watching that with my son.
Right.
So we really
Nice.
got into that a bit
Yeah.
then. So I'll say those for
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Joanne, I have been very fortunate lately because I got to work not only with Gerry Anderson Productions, but I did a piece for Knight Rider, because I was a huge fan of Knight Rider growing up.
What, you mean like David Hasselhoff? Now?
Yes.
Oh, amazing.
So I did a piece for the 40th anniversary
Yeah.
just because for the love of the show, and it got picked up as it became official art for a box set. So I'm getting to work on things like that, and I've just done something else. I don't know if I can mention it, but it's another 80s TV show
All right.
from my childhood.
All right.
So in the vein of Knight Rider, I won't say what it is in
Okay.
case it was going to be a surprise.
Yes.
But, you know, I'm getting to do these.
That must be a thrill.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
It's living the dream. It really is.
There you go.
It really is. So thank you, Joanne.
yeah,
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah, next.
Next one. Jonathan Bell. Do you ever sneak any Anderson references into your designs? Good question. You might find a few in the current poster for
Yeah, just 1 or 2.
for the concert
Yeah,
coming up.
that's right.
Apart from that, I've not really. I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah.
But maybe in the future I will.
Yeah, that's right. Put
I
a
might
cheeky
do
little
that,
Thunderbird 2 in the corner
Yes.
of your next Star Wars game.
I will do that.
Who knows?
Emma Nichols asks, "Hi Paul, what show inspired you to become a Gerry Anderson fan? Also, did you have any crushes on the characters in the Gerry Anderson shows?" Wow.
No one from Terrorhawks, I don't think.
No, the Zelda freaked me out.
Yeah.
I think I'd say crushes wise. When I saw Stingray for the first time,
Yes.
Marina, I think
Yes.
had a little soft spot for her.
Of course.
So I'll say Marina.
Great, lovely. Now, that's enough from our viewers and listeners for this week. We'll have some more questions for you next week. But in the meantime, I'd really like to have a look at some of your work.
Of course.
So I'm going to call up some pictures on the screen here. And I wonder if you could just sort of talk us through what it takes to produce something like this.
Okay.
So we'll start off with one of my favourite. Being a big Star Trek and Picard fan,
Yes.
is your picture for the Picard Series 3, I think. So I should imagine you're sworn to secrecy when you're engaged for a lot of these projects while you're working on them.
Yeah, that's right. You cannot talk about it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be jinxing it with anything.
Yes.
But yeah, to be asked to do the key art for Picard, the final season was like, amazing.
Yeah.
Really.
So you're sent sort of reference pictures, are you, and so on?
Yeah,
for this?
they already had, like I said before, sometimes they already have an idea of what they want.
Yeah.
But they haven't quite, it's not quite there yet.
Yeah.
So a lot of it, like the ship in the background was already decided. The specific headshots were pretty much already decided.
Yeah.
It's just a case of arranging them in a way that felt correct
Yes.
and right for the show.
Does it help if you're a fan of these projects, or because I should
Yeah,
imagine you must feel a certain weight of responsibility?
You do, and I think it shows in the work usually
Yeah.
when you have a bit of knowledge about the shows already.
Yeah.
I was a fan of Next Generation a little bit, but I didn't watch it religiously.
Yeah. But you must know what it means to people, I suppose, when you're doing these
Yes,
things.
of course.
Yeah, which is another thing, isn't it?
Yeah, the fandom side of things.
Yeah.
I'm totally 100% aware of all that because
Yeah.
I am a fan first of most of the things.
Yeah.
And so, I kind of grew up in my early sort of teens, I think, with Jean-Luc Picard and the crew of the Next Generation show.
Yeah.
So
where might people have seen this particular artwork? Was this for?
yeah, this was the main art for the show.
Amazing.
So if you ever watch it on Paramount Plus, this is the artwork you'll see.
I see.
Yeah,
Nice.
and on the Blu-ray even, this is the
Right.
artwork that you can buy in HMV or wherever you get your
yeah.
shows from.
So I guess if you're designing something for different medium, that must require different techniques. If you're doing a thumbnail, for example, that people are going to see very small on their Paramount Plus app on their phone, is that different to designing a poster for outside a theatre? Or
The way it kind of works is we try and keep it so that it's across the board. It has familiarity.
Yeah.
So this I would have had to have given them in layers,
Yeah,
so
I
that
see.
they can then reposition things themselves.
Got you.
Even after I would prefer to do it myself.
Yeah.
Just so you have a bit of design flair.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't have time for that and it gets handed to the people
Yeah.
and then they rearrange it for
Okay.
different things for different social media
Yeah.
or whatever they need really. So it needs to be able to, things need to, even though it looks, this is how it's exactly the way I sort of gave it to them really.
Yeah.
And then from there it can change
Yeah.
a little bit.
Great.
But a great throw. And then the other thing was I got to work, they asked me back for the finale. So there's an episode at the end.
Yes.
And they made a really big deal of it, and it was
Yes.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted a piece of art specifically
I bet they did.
for
No
that
spoilers.
as well. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it
That's
for
right.
anybody, but
Yeah.
but it was an amazing season.
Great, it was,
Absolutely
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud to be part of it. I got
Exactly.
to know the showrunner Terry Matalas
Yeah.
a little bit, and
Yeah.
had a chat with him a few times.
Brilliant.
And
Nice.
absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Let's
Thank
have a
you.
look at the next one. The Marvel Universe beckoned.
Yes, it did.
That must be
It
quite a
did.
thrill.
Yes, this was actually. So I went over to America to introduce myself to the folks at Disney because a
Yeah.
friend of a friend worked there.
Yes,
and they set
that
up
was useful.
a meeting with the theatrical print department. So I took my portfolio there, and I just kept going back every year and saying, "I'm still here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So this was actually my first. I think it was my first project working with Disney,
Right.
And it happened to be this one. It wasn't the main key art,
Uh-huh.
but it was for Regal Cinemas
Yeah.
in America.
Yeah.
And there was, I think I did 3 different posters. So this is one of 3.
Okay.
This was my favorite one actually.
Yeah.
And it came out really good. Originally, it was a character kind of doing like a pose coming through the window at one point, but we changed that.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
I think this came out brilliant. I was just so happy with it.
And I guess these things are kind of highly collectible to those that
I guess
collect
so.
these things. I mean,
Yeah,
handouts and posters.
I would have liked to have got signed. I didn't get any. I've signed a couple over the years.
I'm sure.
But
yeah. Okay, time for one more. Let's have a look at another. Here we go. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yes.
Now, I think this was the DVD or Blu-ray.
It was a
cover.
special collector's edition from Arrow.
Right.
Yeah, I've worked a lot with Arrow. One of my longtime clients, actually.
Yeah.
And they're wonderful folks. And so, yeah, getting to work on some art for Robin Hood, which the original poster wasn't really an illustrated poster. It was a photographic poster.
Right.
I think it was like of a close-up of Kevin Costner.
Yeah,
like,
the famous pose.
fiery
That's it.
bow and arrow. So to take that and kind of take it to where I would like to take it, which is in this sense, was a real thrill.
Yeah.
And there were certain things I wanted to include because I'm a fan of the movie as well.
Yes,
I've always
of
loved
course.
it, and the music, Michael Kamen's music, it was mind blowing for me and Alan Rickman. I mean, even a lot of people will say Kevin Costner's accent kind of spoiled it. For me, it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
No, it is what it is, isn't it?
Christian Slater was brilliant. And I wanted to give a few people a bit of poster time instead of screen time. But
love it.
The ones that stood out to me personally, I actually because this was the first draft,
right?
And they were like, perfect.
Yeah, that'll do.
That was it. I mean, no changes.
Nice. What do you prefer? Do you prefer sort of working on new properties that have yet to be released, or is it actually quite fun to look back at
it's
things
fun,
like
both
this?
is fun, and both is different.
Yeah.
Because this has already existed in the public minds for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So there are things that you can actually do that you wouldn't be able to do on a theatrical brand new poster because they want to keep secrets and they don't want to tell everything.
That's right.
Usually.
Yeah.
So when you get to revisit something, it's another different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
So you can there's a little more leeway, I suppose, because it's not a surprise anymore. Some of the things.
Yeah. All for now, Paul.
Yes.
But before we go, are you on any social media? Do you have a website where people can find your work and maybe follow you?
Sure. You can find me at paulshipperstudio.com, which is my website. It's just been updated a little bit, actually.
Nice.
So I'm adding a lot more of my old stuff that people may not have seen before.
Yeah.
I'm on social media. I'm on X at Paul Shipper, Instagram at Paul Shipper, Facebook at Paul Shipper Studio.
Okay.
Pretty much, if you look me up, you should be able to find me. There's one other Paul Shipper that is a bit well known, and he's a medieval musician.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in New York.
Oh, that's brilliant. I like that.
Yeah, we met once because not in person, but we met because I got his email by mistake.
Course. Yeah, there you go. Great. All for now, but we'll see you again next week for more questions from our listeners.
Lovely.
Another look at some of your work and one or two other Anderson memories too. Okay.
Look forward to it.
See you then.
Thank you.
Paul Shipper.
Nice man.
Yes.
Talented man.
I love interviewing these people who, even if you don't know the name, you would almost certainly have seen their work. I find that quite interesting.
Unsung heroes, aren't they?
They sort of escape below the radar, don't they? But they actually have a very successful career in the meantime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also probably don't get that many opportunities to talk beyond talking shop. So
Yes,
it's rather nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks.
Richard.
Well, you're welcome. And you'll see the
next
second
week.
part.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Next week, Paul Shipper Part 2. In the meantime, do you know what I've really been looking forward to?
Another coffee?
Well, the voice of the Podsterons.
Even better.
Shall we hear what they've got to say?
Yes, please.
Come on then.
This is the voice of the Podsterons.
The voice of the Podsterons.
We love our Podsterons.
We do love our Podsterons.
Yeah.
We don't mention it that often now, but they do have their very own Facebook group, the official podcast listeners Facebook group. I have to say that is where every month you can see who the future guests are, and you have an opportunity to ask questions of them, which will go into the Space 1999 tin to be asked during the interview.
Because some people have said, "Oh, if I'd known they were going to be on, I would have asked them questions."
Yeah.
Well, there's your chance.
Exactly.
That's
So-
your one and only chance.
That's right. Head to facebook.com/groups/podsterons.
Well remembered.
Answer a couple of questions and we'll let you in. Join in the fun. Now, I have to start on quite a sad note. We had a letter here. Actually, we love receiving letters. Care of the Moxie Hotel here in Slough.
Oh, yes.
Now, this is from Dave Hollis. He said, "Hello, Jamie, Richard, Chris, and all the Podsterons. as you put a request out for letters, I thought I might have a go. I'm not very good at writing, I'm better with a camera. Here are a few images I've taken of kit, models and toys, which I've added backgrounds to. And I've added an image or two of my favourite and best actors from the Gerry Anderson show, UFO.
Oh.
So here we go. Actually, this is, that's rather nice. I'm not quite sure which way up it goes.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it?
No, I don't suppose it does, but
I
look,
think it's that way.
That's the Eagle from Space
nice.
1999,
Very
of
nice.
course.
Ah.
Rather interesting, isn't it? Beautiful colours, aren't they?
UFO there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. And rather topical.
Oh, yes.
Oh, in a lava field? Of
Yeah,
some sort?
yeah.
It looks very
Intriguing.
toasty down there.
Yeah, it does.
Lovely.
So there we go. So Dave sent a few more as well. And
Very
he
nice.
also said, I would also like to tell you about a podstron who sadly has passed away. And that's Robert Denham. You, in fact, have met him twice now, Jamie. First time was in Wolverhampton with your dad, and the second time at Brit Sci-Fi Weekend in Leicester. He's also known as Bob the Builder and had his own Facebook group, which I know was also very popular. So there we go. Thank you for sending that in, Dave. And thank you for sending in the pictures as well.
Yeah.
Yes, and Dave also sent us a picture of
Yes.
me with Bob there.
There you go.
Very sad.
Yeah.
But
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dave.
Great.
And yes, our Podsterons are such a lovely community, aren't they? In fact, I was explaining to somebody the other day about our podcast and our Podsterons and the name and the kind of community thing, and they were quite touched
I should think
by
so.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's quite unusual. I can't imagine many other podcasts have got a community and a loyal audience like that, engaging with each other all the time.
Yeah.
A great
It's nice.
Anyway, now we also have a few emails. I'm going to start with this one because I think, as you can see here, in big capital letters at this at the top of this email from Hugh Porter, it says, "Welcome to Do in Aussie accent."
Oh, I'm so pleased. This
So,
is my favourite
Are you ready, everybody?
Yes.
G'day, Richard, Jamie and Chris. Also to the Podsterons. Hope you're all doing well. I just ordered myself the new Adventures of First Action Bureau from the worlds of Richard James, as well as signed by the man himself. First thing I've ever had signed from Mr. James for me personally, and I'm excited for it.
As you
Is
should
that
be.
right? Is it going okay?
That's great.
I recommend Podsterons do the same and buy from the GA store. Limited copies available. He's very good, isn't he?
Yes.
I like this. And remember, Podsterons, the more you support, the better things can be developed and created.
Very true.
I love all this.
He's bang on.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to drop the accent now.
Oh, please, no.
Managed to get free shipping
No.
for this order.
No.
Managed to get free shipping for this order as it was over 110 Australian dollars. So, yahoo! Also, want to say to give an amazing and spectacular shout out to Louise from the Anderson store. Thank you.
Here, here.
You're a legend. I've also been upgrading my DVD. Can I stop now?
Oh, it's so good, though.
I've also been upgrading my DVD collection to Blu-ray. I've already started with A Life Uncharted and Stand By for Action, so I'm hyped to hear about the 30th anniversary Space Precinct Blu-ray set that's due to be released in September or October.
October.
So I'll be buying more from the Gerry Anderson store in the near future. Hopefully more copies of 1967 Captain Scarlet suddenly appear out of nowhere, or UFO, or even Stingray. Or even, possibly, a 4x3 version of Thunderbirds on Blu-ray soon, maybe for its 60th anniversary.
Well, we can but hope. We keep trying.
Until the next email or letter, Commander H. Porter signing out. Or Commander Australia, whatever is preferred from Richard, Jamie and Chris. Welcome to Have a Vote. Nothing is true, nothing is true, nothing is true, nothing is true, nothing is true. He's written in very big block capitals.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I wish you'd done the whole thing in Australian, but
It's quite tiring. I don't know how Australians do it.
no.
Do you think they get exhausted by their own accent?
Probably. Poor Hugh had to have a nap after writing that.
Jamie, over to you.
Oh, yes, there's one here.
Yeah.
Hi, Richard, Jamie, and Chris.
Hello there.
Hello.
Having been a committed podcast listener from episode 1 and a fairly regular contributor from the early days onwards,
Oh, yes.
I thought I'd let you know that I can no longer be referred to as Paul Hyder from China.
Oh, right.
All changed.
Yes, why?
Well, Paul Hyder, no longer from China, continues. My family and I are currently moving back to the UK after 25 plus years in Yunnan, China.
Oh, wow.
Wow. This means I should be able to get more involved with the Anderson world without the time differences, the distance issues, and blocked websites such as YouTube, Facebook, etc.
Of course.
Paul, you've got so much to catch up on.
Yes.
Thank you for keeping me in touch with all things Anderson via the podcast over the years. Hope to actually meet you guys someday soon. Best wishes, Paul Hyder, no longer from China. Paul Hyder?
What? Where's he going to move to? I hope it also almost rhymes with
Yeah, it's
Hyder.
got to.
Wherever he
Otherwise,
ends up.
where else can you where are you going to live in the UK?
China?
Paul Hyder from China?
Well, it's almost like China, isn't it? a couple of letters out.
I was going for rhyming rather than almost China.
I know.
Podsterons, if you have any suggestions as to where Paul Hyder can move to in the UK that rhymes with Hyder, do please let us know.
That's right. Excellent. Paul Hyder no longer from China. I feel quite sad about that, really.
Yes, end of an era.
Next, we'll be hearing that Paul Hyde is moving from the Isle of Wight.
Oh, that could never happen.
No, maybe he'll move to China.
Yeah.
There's a YouTube comment for
There's
you,
a
Chris, I
YouTube
think.
comment. Is it for me or is it
Yeah.
for all of us? Well, this is from Deebs270 on YouTube. I've just turned 65, so you can imagine that I grew up within both the Anderson sphere and the Roddenberry sphere.
Oh, yeah.
Good idea. More the former during my earlier years and the latter into adulthood. I had so much enjoyment from these great sci-fi series, all of them. Except Joe 90 and Space 1999.
Okay.
When doing teen stuff outdoors was more appealing.
Teen stuff outdoors.
Okay, let's
Joe
move
90.
on from there, please.
Yep.
Yet UFO remains for me the pinnacle of the Andersons' work. It was true nail-biting stuff. Not quite the hide behind the sofa every time a Dalek moseyed down the corridor, but a darker, more adult uneasiness. Live actors, of course, added to this darker style of script writing, none of which would have made sense in Supermarionation. UFO was also shot close to where I lived at the time, Walton-on-Thames, at various local locations, Wisley, Oxshott Woods, Virginia Water, etc.
Ah,
That's
nice.
from
Thanks, Deebs.
270, yes.
Yeah. Have you ever done like a location tour of
No,
Anderson shows?
no. The closest I've been is I went and looked at Robert Vaughan's house from The Protectors.
Right,
and then
that's
once
exciting.
well, I just happened to be passing, and I thought, oh well, it's in a muse, so I'll just sort of mosey along the muse. And then once you get there, you realise there is basically nothing there except that house.
Yeah.
So you can't look like you're doing anything except
Yes.
staring at this house, which gets a bit odd after a
Is
while.
the restraining order still in force?
Sadly, it is. Yes, I have to go and stare at number 6's house from the prisoner instead.
Yes. All for now, but thank you for getting in touch with podcast at gerryanderson.com. We always appreciate your news, views, comments, reviews, and anything else.
I quite like that little rhyme.
News,
Views, comments, reviews.
Talking of little rhymes,
Yeah.
would you like to take a hike to see what we choose on the randomiser? Over to Paul Shipper and the big red button.
Okay.
Good luck, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, right, what are we hoping for this time? Bit of puppetry? Bit of live action?
Yeah, always good.
There we go.
Ah.
Well, that'll do. Bit of
You got
puppetry,
your
bit of
wish,
live action.
yeah.
Bit of random.
What could be better?
The Secret Service. Tell us about the Secret Service, Chris.
Well, the Secret Service, 13 episodes only. Yes, hybrid of Supermarionation and live action. It's the last Anderson series to carry the words filmed in Supermarionation, and it stars Stanley Unwin as a country vicar who is bequeathed by one of his dying parishioners a shrinking ray, and when British intelligence find out he has the shrinking ray, they recruit him for various missions, and he shrinks the church gardener and puts him in a suitcase, takes him along on missions, and also he has another weapon in his arsenal, which is he can use nonsense speech called Unwinese to baffle the opposition.
Well, that's all we have time for on the Gerry Anderson podcast. Join us next week.
Yes, it's what they call a high concept show.
Oh, right,
Yes,
okay.
without intending to be outward.
And the episode we're watching is...
To Catch a Spy.
Shall we?
I think we should.
Specs on. Can you imagine watching The Secret Service for the first time, having seen that Century 21 sting on previous shows, and what you'd kind of be expecting as a first-time viewer?
So, but up until now, let's see when the point comes when you'd suddenly go, eh?
Oh.
Because for now, this would be entirely expected.
Yeah, this is entirely in keeping with Joe 90, I think.
Yeah.
Naughty men with guns, prisons.
Yeah, someone who's fallen in a puddle.
Yes.
Nice leather jacket.
Lots of old faces from
They
the Captain
are.
Scarlet days.
Beautifully dressed.
Yes.
Yes.
Very natty. Right.
Bit of flashing going on. So to be fair, I
Yeah.
agree with you so far.
Yeah.
I mean, there's guns, there's
Even a live action hand will be acceptable.
naughty people doing all these things. This could be.
I like this.
This could be Scarlet, it could be Joe 90.
Oh! Right. Excellent.
That's it.
Good
And-
shot.
Kaboom!
Oh!
Yes, this is an attack on a prison. I don't quite know how they mined the prison to make it explode, but
Good point.
trying to sneak away from his cell. Is this chap?
Green headlight over here! Over here!
Oh, played by Captain Brown.
Right.
What's he got in the end of his gun?
Smoke pellet.
Get
Yes.
the emergency lights on!
There's Captain Oka, trying to keep things under control.
So this is very dramatic.
It is,
isn't it?
yeah. And interesting as well, there's no music. It is just
Yeah.
the sound effects.
And so far, totally in keeping with what you'd expect from the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, even a nice futuristic
I
vehicle.
was going to say, unusually, so the Secret Service didn't really have many kind of fancy vehicle designs.
No,
I mean, I'm not sure a Model T Ford counts as a fancy vehicle.
certainly not much in the way of shootouts.
No.
That's nice as well. It's fast cutting. It's all very, very effective. Oh, no. They hit
yeah.
that guy.
So, whoever it is has got away.
Yes. This is a reuse of a helijet set from Joe 90, I think.
Complete success.
He's from Scarlet, isn't he, as well?
Yeah. Every puppet so far in this scene has been from Scarlet, including this gentleman.
Yes.
Yes.
Looking very
Alright.
familiar.
It's still exciting.
Yes.
Oh, see, and an Anderson thing. I always forget how still Anderson it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Because you think of the Secret Service being kind of cutesy and,
Yeah.
just not your standard Anderson fare, but a secret landing bay under a tennis court.
Fantastic.
Although you don't look at that live-action country house and necessarily think, oh yeah, this is really what would be behind there.
Mm.
Yeah.
There is that slight disconnect.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
spy has escaped, friends.
Nice.
It's our
Right.
intro.
And now it's suddenly like, what?
Hang on, have we accidentally flicked channels?
Yeah.
What are we watching now?
It's now Songs of Praise. There he is. There's our boy.
Right.
Yeah, but if all these sequences, if the live action sequences had still been Super Mario Nation, would we regard this series differently? Would it be in the likes of Joe 90? Would it be held in a similar regard? And
I
Captain
don't know.
Scarlet and so on?
It's different. I don't think there would have been much difference, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's still a very weird premise, no
Yeah.
matter how you realise it.
Yeah, and Stanley Unwin. I mean, you've gone from aspirational young adult characters of Stingray, Thunderbirds, and Scarlet to, oh, this kid is your age, people who are watching in Joe 90.
Now got to the other end of
Who
that.
is this for?
Yeah, okay.
I aspire to be a parish priest.
I mean, you say that.
I mean, yeah, maybe it's something you grow into. So, I mean, I'm not knocking it. I love the Secret Service in its own way.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to take it, in its own way.
Yes. Yeah, it sits
Here we
apart.
are in London. Checking in at British Intelligence. This lovely building, yes.
Is that building still there?
It is.
It is, yes.
Of course, we
Yeah.
talked about it,
A whole
yes.
fun fact about that.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did, I remember.
And here for the last time, we see British Intelligence agents Saunders and Patterson,
Impossible, but it's happened.
who were in the first episode. Now here they are again. Their role in the series was very quickly phased out because it was basically just, well now, as you know, this very important thing is happening, and as you know, we must do something about this. So they just stand around telling each other exposition and why this week's mission is so
Get him
important.
back, Patterson, and quickly. I thought all.
So how far into the run is this episode?
This is a tricky one because it's either
Grey and the
the
helicopter.
third episode made but the fourth shown,
Right.
or the fourth made and the third shown.
Okay.
There is, for some reason, those two are the other way around.
Early.
Early. Well, for
Well.
a 13 episode series.
Yes.
More time in guessing games, Patterson. This is a job for the bishop.
I need a vicar with a shrinking ray, pronto.
Yes? Most urgent. Top priority. We have an assignment for you.
You can sense the air quotes around that assignment.
I see. And you say they lost contact 50 miles from the jail?
We have plotted the position. It was directly over the estate of Sir Humphrey Burton.
Not Sir Humphrey.
You have to be very
Yes.
careful before accusing him of anything.
Yeah, very careful.
Why we must be discreet. His staff have been
We'll
questioned.
set up an interdepartmental committee.
Seeing a helicopter in the area.
Is there anything more you can tell me?
Nothing. But remember, Grey must be prevented from leaving the country at all costs.
At all costs.
Fair enough. Are we going to see any female characters?
Yes. No.
We have one.
Do we see Mrs.
She's probably around somewhere making sandwiches.
She's hiding in the bushes.
Having trouble with the slugs?
Yes, but I think we've got 'em on the run now, Father.
There's somebody else on the run, Matthew. I've just heard from the bishop.
Who's not a slug.
I know it.
Just to be clear.
He's great, though.
Better go inside, don't you?
Nice. So, can I just comment on the beautiful sets?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the prop stuff. I mean, when Father Owen was sat on his little bench,
Yeah.
texture of the bricks behind him and all that,
Steps and
it's so
everything.
lovely.
Yeah.
Now, I think this would come as a bit of a surprise, wouldn't it, if you hadn't seen this show before?
Yes.
As many people watching probably haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Although it was a running theme through the earlier Supermarionation shows, there would be a shrinking episode
Uh-huh.
or some episode that makes use of the real world, putting puppets on real sets.
Yes.
But they hadn't done it for a while by this point. There's Matthew with his little case. And supposedly those metal bits, there's drawers full of equipment in there that he never uses on screen.
Right. Yeah.
You'd think that could be useful, but no.
Yeah.
It's a nice little moment, though, when you see him.
Recognize the importance of this assignment, Matthew.
Step
So
in.
we must do our best.
Ready when you are, Father.
You forgot the air holes. You haven't given me any air holes.
Right.
But there's one point where the live action and the puppetry integrate quite well. That shot of Unwin standing next to the case,
Yeah.
and then you cut to the puppet Unwin, and it's almost, the room is basically the same.
Yeah, but then why do we cut to the puppet Unwin? Why not just keep the scale thing going on?
Sir Humphrey Burn.
It seems incredible that he should have anything to do with Gray's escape.
On the ways of the world, I have an open mind, Matthew.
Rich and powerful people are always trustworthy and
Right.
never get up to anything
That's the
nefarious.
message.
Yes.
It's so funky.
Oh, yes.
But, you know, it's Barry showing off,
Hmm.
doing all this kind of fugue stuff, which is so ridiculous,
Yeah.
particularly for a kids' show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it fits with the sort of slightly bizarre nature of the whole premise, I guess.
It seems like everyone's kind of pushing the envelope a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Someone approaching the house, sir.
The house. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if that is that guy meant to be his butler
Sort of clergyman, sir.
or just
Sort of
some
clergyman.
someone who keeps an eye on the cameras.
Yeah.
But Stanley Unwin got to go out on location for the day anyway.
Nice.
Do we know where this house is?
You can check my book, The Secrets of the Secret Service. I'm sure it will be in there.
Nice.
Because it's no longer in here. But I think it is a house that's been in other things. I want to say it was in Brideshead Revisited. I could be wrong. And here's another lovely
I
set.
see you're interested in botany.
Yes. Oh, as an amateur, of course. Well, what can I do for you?
Well, I've been given a special mission by the bishop. He suggested I should call on you.
Just a bit fell out of the way.
This is a pleasant surprise.
Outed case, Matthew, and quickie-looky hat.
I beg your pardon?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Oh, forgive me. The bishop suggested I came down here and had a little chat.
All clear now, Father.
Oh, yes, of course.
Shut case then.
I love how he's genuinely willing to go along with this. He's going to entertain it for a little while.
Shut case, Matthew.
Oh, yes, opally shut case. Matthew, all beloved evangelode of goodly bookery, like it Marky, Lucum, Johnny. Oh, yes.
Right.
Ah, yes, the good book.
All clear, Father.
You seem to be insane. Is there anything I can help you with there?
Want us to discuss?
Well, as far as I know, I think he would want me to say, read it between the lino.
Ah, yes.
You know, all kind it sort of subtly mean through the goodly bookery, and good luck, Matthew.
Now, why is he talking about this?
I do indeed.
Just to scupper this baddie and make him go, oh, yes, of course, yeah.
I'm very busy today.
Yes, of course. Mustn't keep you from your work. I'll see you in church, no doubt.
Of course. Let me show you out, old chap. Nice to have met you, Father, and you must give my regards.
Oh, yes, there's that minifigure.
Certainly.
A puppet scale puppet. It doesn't work.
Yes.
I think later on you see him sat in a chair from a long shot and he's absolutely rock stiff. It really doesn't work.
I mean, was that really the only way to get Matthew in there? Bear in mind he's small and he can get through gaps and open
You
windows.
could just post him to places.
Yeah. Lovely house, though. Gosh. Does look very Brideshead, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Matthew, are you there, Matthew?
All quiet here, Father. Nothing happening so far.
Keep your eyes open, Matthew, and report if you find anything.
Sir Humphrey's coming back. We'll call you later. Over and out.
I would have to assume as well this is one Anderson property that no one has ever attempted or even considered reviving because it is so much connected to having Unwin.
Well, yeah, I mean,
It's true.
Although you're about to make an announcement by the
I'm not announcing anything. No, I did do a slightly jokey treatment for a Secret Service reader because there's something kind of fascinating in the dual role of goodly vicar and spy.
Just some stupid clergyman.
Well, you have it in shows like Father Brown. I mean, a few years after this, and currently you have Father Brown, which is the combination vicar and detective. So it can work. I suppose it could work with a sci-fi edge, but
I always thought Ian McShane would be a great replacement vicar. I mean, this is an
interesting choice.
10 years ago.
A bit more rough and ready, potentially.
Yeah. I think you have to be a bit grittier.
Yeah.
All right, but be careful.
Sorry, Richard, were you hoping I'd cast you as the vicar?
You are. I'm gutted, to be fair.
So, no, you're Mrs. Appleby.
I could do that. Look at his little hat.
And considering there's only 13 episodes, I think percentage-wise you see more of Father Unwin in bed throughout the course of his series than any other Anderson character.
Really?
He seems to be in bed for at least one scene in almost every other episode.
That is a fab fact.
It's a fab
If ever
fact.
there was one.
That is not a fab effect.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That is...
Bump.
Yes. But there we're making use of... I think that's the frowning face for the Captain Brown puppet.
Very standard, Barry Gray, tension, little bit of music there.
Is any of this reused from elsewhere?
What, the music or the props?
Yes, the music.
No, I think this is Secret Service. Yeah.
It sounds very... It's got a very kind of similar style. Of
I have a
illustration.
feeling this was reused for 1999 at various points.
There you go.
So Matthew's now sneaking around in the basement.
And he spotted the chopper.
Still Ellie Jack.
Come in, Father.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, what?
Hello, Father. Come in, Father.
Oh, great heavenly abode. Who's talking in the midi-night clothes?
Oh, dear.
Come in, Father.
Oh,
It's a lovely sculpt of the face
In the secret room, Father.
on Unwin.
Found the helicopter and the escaped prisoner, Gray.
Now, Matthew, we want to catch the whole crowd. Where's Sir Humphrey?
Don't worry. He must be fast asleep.
Yeah, that's what you think.
Yeah, famous last words.
In his
He looks
sleeping
sinister there with
suit.
that lighting, doesn't he? Brilliant.
I want a chair like that.
Yes.
Well, I mean, just press the button.
No!
Well, first you need a secret basement shop.
Yes, and an escaped prisoner.
Indeed, yes.
Secret helicopter.
Yeah, tennis court.
Country house.
What's that? Is it all arranged?
Oh no, it's a blinking head rather than a frowning head. Yeah, even though Captain Brown was only a guest character in the first episode of Captain Scarlet, why he's got a post-it note stuck on his back?
Oh, yes.
This is Kick Me, that's why.
Yeah, I think they made a full range of expressions for the Captain Brown puppet.
So glad. Remember, we leave at 5:30.
Ooh.
5:30.
Now, of course, we recognise the Colonel White puppet there, but viewers wouldn't necessarily have recognised it because the last time they would have seen it would have been several years ago.
Yeah, it might have been
Before the
rerunning at
advent
the
of
time.
VHS and DVD and
It would have been about
repeats.
18 months since he was last seen in Scarlet. Yeah. He was in Joe a couple of times,
see.
2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Dramatic ad break.
Yes. Unwin must be up by now. Oh yes, 5:30.
In the morning, I
In
assume.
the morning, hopefully, yes. Will he have time for breakfast?
Ready for
Let's
takeoff?
find out.
Oh,
Of
yes.
course.
I see.
Always
Good.
for breakfast.
I'll be with you soon.
Do he actually have... Oh, he does give a sermon, doesn't he?
A female character.
Oh no!
Work to be done, Mrs.
What's she doing
Work to
here?
be done.
Well, it's a pity Matthew doesn't think about things like that.
It's modelled on Christine Glanville's mother, I
Oh,
believe. Yes.
right.
And the puppet's currently in the V&A archive, but sadly not on display.
Oh.
Oh,
Seems a great shame.
could have had her here today.
Oh, another time.
Yes.
She can be a guest.
Yes, I hear you. I shall be on the road in a minute.
In a minute, Father. But you haven't even had your breakfast.
I've been sat there for ages.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
Oh, I understand, Father. I understand.
You can sort of see the proportions of the face actually being like Christine herself, so...
Yeah, there is another level of realism in scenes where it's just the two of them.
Bear in mind, we're heading towards a dramatic climax.
We're building tension.
Still quite leisurely, isn't it?
It's very leisurely, yeah.
The jolly music.
Also, the chopper makes a blade sound and it's got no blades.
Yes. Oh, he's giving his best Tom Cruise there.
Quite a bit. That's a pilot showing off.
Hello, Matthew. Hello, Matthew. Are you receiving?
Loud and clear, Father. Where are you?
Poor Matthew.
Heading south. Where are you, Matthew?
It's difficult to pick out a landmark. Ah, yes, there we are. Guildford Cathedral.
Right.
Yes, we're just...
Difficult to pick out a landmark, apart from that massive cathedral.
I should be able to see you.
He's absolutely
Like
fearless.
Celia.
He never complains, and here he's asked to hang on to the side of a flying vehicle, and it's fine. It's just all in a day's work. Now, one of the things I mentioned in the Secret Service book is that the original script for this episode had a bit more going on in the climax, which we'll get to as we get there. But it's one of those things where I guess they were running short of time and it had to be condensed.
Yeah, time or money.
Yeah. I know at least some of it was shot, but we'll get to that later.
That could be a shot from the Protectors, couldn't it?
Yeah.
After the music.
Back to relaxed jazz. They stole the car there almost.
Yeah, it is lovely music, but it doesn't really sort of make you think, oh, pulse pounding, urgent mission.
No.
It's fine, it doesn't matter if we get where we're going or not.
It's incredibly relaxed.
Yeah.
Oh, I expect you soon.
Yes. So there we have model jet, real life car, puppet unwin.
Yeah, it's all a bit
Are they
strange.
cutting together well? Oh, he's leaving again. It's not bad reversing from.
Oh, do you think they just reversed the film?
All right, let's go.
Possibly.
Yeah,
It's tough to
that's what
tell
I
on that
thought.
reversing.
Yeah.
Some of these bits are so ponderous. You've got that fast cutting stuff with the model effects and the gunfight at the beginning, and now
Let's follow a car all the way.
very slowly.
Which is why it makes
out.
even less sense to know that there was stuff cut from the finale, when there is stuff here that could be...
Because we could have seen it leave and then cut straight to this.
Yeah.
Saved ourselves 20 seconds. Now... Mum had one of those cars.
Oh, it is lovely seeing all these
Morris.
old vehicles.
Yeah, there's Matthew again, hanging on for dear life.
Look how little traffic there is.
Yeah.
We'll be there in 5 minutes. I'll just check contacts.
Not the most conspicuous vehicle.
The oldie milk float.
Wow.
Oh, gosh.
I recognise that gateway as well.
We're just entering Kew Gardens, Father.
Not surprising, Matthew. I recall.
Is it actually Kew Gardens Gateway?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Stay with them, Matthew. I'll join you shortly.
Look, it might be Clifton.
I was going to say Clinton, but I mean,
Yeah.
that sign,
Yeah.
I think that's not real.
Really?
Yeah, that's my feeling.
Where the dickens has our contact got to?
Language,
I thought you said everything was under control. He'll be here.
Good morning, sir. You are a botanist?
I have
multi-foreign agents.
You may be the man I want. I am interested in the genus Grey vulgaris.
What
So I beg your pardon?
Genus Grey vulgaris.
Wandering about outside.
Well, the quicker we get out of here, the better. This is Gray.
Good.
That was brown.
Let's get to the boat immediately.
Off you go then, Gray. Good luck.
Yeah, so there was a whole sequence deleted where Gray was actually apprehended, I think at sea later on. As far as I know, as far as I can remember, there's no mention of him being apprehended after this.
Right.
So he gets away.
Okay.
And the whole point was in not being able to leave the country
Yes.
at any cost.
I mean, there might be a mention of him maybe being picked up outside or something, but
You and I live by different
that wasn't the original plan.
What's that book?
Just a minute.
That's no book.
What's that suspicious thing you're doing that I'm going to stand here and let you do?
Yes, I'm just going to watch while you... What?
What's that noise? That light?
Where am I? What's going on?
What are you doing? Why am I shrinking? Why am I not running away?
Who's playing that comedy sound effect? Yeah.
Oh, that's quite...
What have you done?
It's a bit
yes.
like the Master, isn't it?
Absolutely.
With his tissue compression eliminator.
It's quite a scary concept, isn't
I think
it?
I've cut Sir Humphrey down to size, Matthew.
Oh.
Leave him to you.
Right, Father.
So there was, again, more stuff deleted here. There's a shot of Matthew with his foot stuck in a carnivorous plant.
Right.
Like a Venus flytrap. And there was a whole sequence with that.
Right.
But I guess must have been filmed, because otherwise the photo wouldn't exist. But it was all cut down to this.
Yeah.
I think there was also something involving an animal.
You're wasting bullets.
And Sir Humphrey trying to climb a tree, maybe.
Wow.
It's all in the book.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This feels a shame though, because once they're miniature, having the miniature characters interact with the real world in an exciting way.
Yes, that's
because this gunfight,
series.
This gunfight could take place at real scale and wouldn't really be that different. I mean, potentially this frog is going to do something, I'm sure.
You'd hope so. We've seen enough of it.
Oh,
Let's be sensible.
It also makes things look really easy for Matthew.
The garden's empty. There's no escape.
He's just taunting him.
Give up.
All right, Matthew.
Yeah.
Sir Humphrey. Looking for me, Sir Humphrey.
Unwin's doing nothing to help.
Yeah, well...
Just a bad dream.
No, Sir Humphrey, it's not a bad dream. Let's go out to the police car and join your friend.
Oh, so the police were there to pick him up.
You were right, Father. I think we have cut him down to size.
Or to use that joke, so it's not very effective.
And that also, deleting the bit with the carnivorous plant explains
All
this.
right, Matthew? Very nicely, thank you, Father. As a matter of fact, I wanted to have a word with you about that. I'd rather not plant out any anti-rhinums this year. What, snapdragons? That's right, Father. They have a sort of hungry look about them, if you see what I mean.
Right.
So he...
No, I don't see what you mean, because we've cut that.
That's deleted scene. You're having strange delusions, my friend.
So that makes kind of no sense, really.
Yeah,
interesting.
That's it.
Yes, so speaking of making no sense, that was the Secret Service.
Hey, I mean...
Richard, have you seen a full episode of this
Never
before?
seen a full episode
So,
of the Secret
what do you
Service.
make of it?
I mean, is that the best it gets?
I'd say that's about average.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's mildly diverting, I suppose. I'd probably watch it with the kids. Small children might enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't know. The sequence in the hothouse was interesting.
The opening was great.
Yeah,
the opening was lovely.
Promises so much.
They kept that pace up.
And then,
yeah,
it really sort of falls over, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
It's such a shame.
And knowing that there's so much stuff cut from the end, when there's so much stuff in the middle that doesn't really serve anything, it certainly doesn't keep interest. I still like it because it's the Secret Service and I like the Secret Service. But
Yes.
I'd say this is firmly in the middle of the road episode for me.
So it's time for us to give this episode scores out of 5. So
I'm going down the middle, as I've said, so 3.
You'll go 3.
I'm going to go 3, yeah.
Jamie.
There's a lot to like.
Yeah.
But I think I'm stuck at 2.5
that's
for the Secret Service. And it's lifted itself up a half just being Secret Service.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 3 as well. Mainly because, as you said, it's the first one I've seen, so it has a certain surprise element to it. How long that would last throughout the series, another 12 episodes, I don't know.
Not that long.
Get yourself to ITVX and find out.
There we go. So, Podsterons, what do you think? Have you ever seen an episode of The Secret Service?
They have now.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't shown countrywide, was it, on its
it was in a
release?
couple of regions.
Yeah.
Disappeared by about 75.
Right. And so how would you rate that particular episode? Comment below on the YouTube video so we can see what you think about Secret Service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the next one.
Right.
But yeah.
Whenever that might be.
Yeah.
We don't
I feel like you could almost cut that episode down to half the length. And it might be more exciting.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Great.
Anyway.
I think that's another week gone by.
Oh, it is.
Is it really?
Yeah, so join us next time for more Podsterons, the second part of my interview with Paul Shipper, some more Gerry Anderson news,
Yes.
and
Another
randomiser.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
See
can't
you
wait.
later. Bye.
Bye.
1. Let's get started. Let's go.
Spectrum is green.
I have a question for you both.
Oh, yes.
And you can't obviously borrow my casting.
No.
If the Secret Service was to be rebooted in any style,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a gritty reboot, who would you cast as Father Unwin or Sister Unwin, potentially, if
Sister
you wanted to
Unwin.
do a gender flip?
I would gender flip it, and I would go for Miranda Hart. I would. And I'd make it.
You'd go for the comedy, would you?
I really would, yes. What else can you do? What else can you do?
Well,
It's a ridiculous
yeah.
premise, a ridiculous concept, so let's
Miranda Hart.
Let's play with that. Let's
Sister
have Miranda
Unwin
Hart.
in the Secret
That could
Service.
work, couldn't it?
I'm looking forward to seeing the cover art for that from Paul Shipper.
That was an Anderson Entertainment production.